Hello, why love? I read an article that said that you are from Flatbush, New Jersey. Is that true?
I was born in Baltimore. That's where I'm from. I was moved to New York in 1999 to Flatbush to become part of the Jewish community. My first encounter with anything Jewish was when I was 7 years old, and I saw a commercial on TV that said "Happy Passover" from your friends at Channel 2. And I told my mother, Mommy, I wanted to be Jewish. So I saw a six-pointed star, and I went and started drawing it on everything, and I told my mother, Mommy, I want to be Jewish. And that was it. There was no, thought process or soul-searching process involved. The next day, she goes to a woman at her job and says, I can't imagine what their conversation entails, but, she tells her that I wanted to be Jewish, and they said, oh, why don't you come over for Passover Seder? When I was about 14, I happened to be crossing through Johns Hopkins University's campus, and I saw a swastika on a billboard. So I go to see what it is, and it was a lecture from the Jewish Association on the Holocaust and stuff. And I went to the lecture, and that was my first time going to anything sponsored by a Jewish organization. And so somebody said, well, that was on a Monday, somebody said, what are you doing Friday night? And that became my first Shabbat. Up until right before this point, I had considered myself Jewish. I thought of Judaism, I was like, oh, okay, it's like what you believe. It's like any other religion you believe, and that's it. So I started going to services at Johns Hopkins University at their Jewish Students Association. So I didn't know that there was such a thing as you have to become Jewish, there's such a thing as conversion. So once I found out that there was such a thing as conversion, I was like, oh, okay, so let me do that then. And they said no, because I was too young at the time. When my great-grandfather came over to Puerto Rico with kids and a family and had to find a job instantly, a Jewish family was the first family who gave him a job. So my grandmother was raised in a Jewish household, so she only had positive interactions with Jews when she was little. She wanted to be Jewish her whole life. So she really, as I would take an interest in things, she would really encourage me.
Do you think that maybe some of the spark that you had with Judaism might come from Judaism being back in the Ethiopian background? I mean, have you ever done any genealogy?
I personally am 100% sure. There's no question in my mind that my father's side of my family was Jewish.
Do you still consider yourself a Chassid?
No. I mean, as far as Hasidic philosophy, I'm always going to be down with that. I'm always going to be down with the idea of serving God in joy and the idea that everything has value and that everybody has a divine spark inside of them. And when you take a kid who's eating bacon cheeseburger and you take a kid who's eating Entenmann's and you treat those two kids the same way, kick both of these kids out of your yeshiva. Just for not keeping the standard of kashrus that you had. I just started seeing more and more disrespect within the community. Once I started to see, people from Borough Park not going to Williamsburg. And then, of course, when I started doing rap music, that was something you would have thought that I was gangster. Total, forget T.I., forget Snoop Dogg. Even Eminem would have been treated better. At that point, I was really trying to cater to everybody in the free world. Trying to make rap music as palatable to as many people as possible. Then we came out with a CD for Spira. Just me and a beatboxer, and I'm rhyming about holidays. It was mostly in English, lots of Aramaic, really, very, tourist-sensitive hip-hop, very yeshivish. And they started selling it in Borough Park and in Flatbush. And so in Flatbush, this parent comes into a parent in the Jewish store and complains to the person behind the counter, how could you sell this music to my children? This one rabbi came out and said that you're not allowed to have concerts. After that came out, then this thing called the Committee for the Purity of Jewish Music or something. They started in Bnei Brak in Israel, and that rabbi said that hip hop music is disgusting and has no place in our community. once that happened, a lot of people just took that quote and ran with it. This story is being told to me at a Shabbos table by this one rabbi's wife, and while she's saying it, she's like looking at me real bluntly, like as if to say, like, ha, I told you this would happen. And I was like, you know what, if this is the, this is the reaction that you're supposed to have, this is the community's, like, legislative reaction to hip-hop, I just don't need to even try anymore. But, I'm still keeping Shabbos, codes and all of that. But, now it's like I just make music, just make concerts, and if you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. But I'm not going to bend over backwards. Just as it's forbidden to commit the forbidden, it's also forbidden to forbid the permitted.
How would you classify your halachic observance now?
I mean, I'm still from, and I'm still, some of everything, and, I identify a lot with the open Orthodox movement, and, really into social justice, really into, interacting with non-Jews and positive interactions with the non-Jewish world, and, being a light up to the nations and all of that. Do I wear a black velvet yarmulke? Yeah. But, that's probably never going to change. And I still got, payers and a beard, and that's probably never going to change. I'm getting shorter now.
So tell me, what do you think is the most important issue confronting Jewish people today?
Evaluation of self. That's the biggest, lack of self-esteem, of national self-esteem as a Jewish nation. I want to show people not only is Judaism the hottest thing that hit humanity since air, it's also so hot that it's the fire not just blowing up for the people on the inside, it's also attracting people from the outside too. Conversion to Judaism is through the roof. There's more and more people who are seeing this beauty. This light isn't coming from nowhere. One of the things that I love about that, I really love about Judaism, is that it's like God gave over his cosmic Wikipedia to humanity.
Could rappers do a better job of promoting good in their music, and if so, how?
Of course. Now, praise God, there is starting to be a little bit of a turnaround, but that's not what was getting played on the radio. That's not what the record companies were putting out. And I think that slowly, more people, more executives started to listen to the people.
Tell me about Why Love.
So, let's see, 31, divorced, was married briefly in 2003 for less than a year, no kids. If you follow me on Twitter, /WhyLove, you'll see it periodically dealing with your matchmaking and trying to find good matchmakers and BS matchmakers and anybody my true healthy trials and tribulations with the dating scene.
You still consider yourself single, unattached? I mean, you're not in a committed relationship with anyone currently?
No. Facebook status still single.
Thank you so much for your time in the interview. I really appreciate it.
You use hip-hop to elevate, not to tranquilize.